let's look at how the American media is covering this whole balloon attack. And now we've just been willy-nilly shooting down anything in the sky. We don't even know what it is. First, let's listen to this guy, what this clown had to say.
The administration thus far says there's no indication of a connection between these three downed objects and the initial Chinese surveillance balloon. What is the basis, in your view, for that conclusion, as preliminary as it may be right now?
I don't think you can make that conclusion yet. I think we need to see from the wreckage and from the forensics of the wreckage what it is and where it came from. That said, my hunch is that these are probably not Chinese surveillance balloons. I mean, the axis of advance, if you will, came from the north as compared to the southwest with the initial Chinese spy balloon. My gut tells me these are probably weather balloons or scientific research balloons or something like that. But boy, if it is another Chinese balloon, this really says a lot about what's going on in China and what we're up against, if indeed that is the case.
So how would you rule that out?
I think, again, we have to do the forensics. We have to find out what's going on. I'm glad to see that the administration has taken a more proactive approach. They're clearly discriminating what's happening earlier. They've recalibrated their instrumentation, and
they're discriminating? Now they're just shooting any balloon-like thing out of the sky? Was it a surveillance balloon, or did somebody just have a birthday party and released a bunch of Mylar balloons into the sky? Far be it from the United States military or its police to overreact with excessive force. We don't do that in America. Though totally, this guy sounds legit.
Decisions quicker. I think that's a good thing when it comes to airspace and our sovereignty. And I suspect many other Western countries, NATO allies, are doing the same.
So do you believe what Admiral Kirby said? One of the reasons why we are seeing more of these is just perhaps we're looking for them more, and even this change in filter and enhanced technology? Do you think it's as benign as that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, the administration was caught off guard last week or so with the Chinese spy balloon. There was a political backlash to what happened. So
how can this guy say this straight-faced? The Chinese spy balloon, the administration was caught off guard, and now there are a flurry of balloons in the sky. We have just drone striked a Chuck E. Cheese because there was a Christmas perceived to be a Chinese balloon party in there. None of the kids were Chinese, but one of them seemed like he might have liked Chinese food. There were fortune cookies there and balloons, so we just assumed it was a Chinese spy balloon. So we blew up a Chuck E. Cheese, and we're taking this to DEFCON threat level 9.
He went back, recalibrated what it's looking for, adjusted its filters. The reporting was probably beefed up as well, and so you have a lot more folks at NORAD and in other surveillance places looking more closely at our aerospace, and we're identifying things that maybe in the past we either ignored or overlooked or disregarded. And now we're seeing a lot more of these things pop. It is really going to drive, and we see it happening now, a review of our policy and then the protocols and procedures by which we act on aircraft entering our airspace, whether it's manned or unmanned, military, civilian, research, non-research, you name it. I think it's going to drive a big policy review that seems to be overdue at this point.
Translation, more money for military. That's what he just said. That's what he just said. Oh my God, what if kites start being used?